Hi everyone, welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Saya's Route, Episode 8. So, we're in this little history about how Saya and Akito got together and what was happening during the middle school years while Hikari is gone. So, Saya felt that Akito rejected her because he never came to answer Saya's reply to the love letter that she wrote. And during the whole time, Saya saw Akito being happy with Takeichi and other people, and she could sense that something isn't right. So after Akito's grandfather passed, Akito still looked happy, but Saya knows that, well, I'm sure he's hiding something based on what I know about him. And when she did fess up the courage to talk to Akito, Akito cried, and he is kind of sad that his grandfather passed, but at least the grandfather gave him some kind words before he died. And now we're at the part where we learn about how Akito decided to stay at the clubroom of Hoshino Daiichi and make it his new home. So if you remember in the very beginning, Akito was sleeping in the clubroom and Saya was giving him Oden. And Saya is concerned about Akito's poor primitive lifestyle in the beginning. And when Hikari came back, Saya told all about it to her. Okay. Okay, so Saya's here. So this is the Hoshino Daiichi's Astronomy Club room. Akun says that he would be living here. And my face is so smug and proud. Or his face. So, is it okay? Well, I'm a club member, but I'm sure you're not allowed to stay here for the night. So it seems serious to be... Let's see, as he carelessly said that, thinking that the school might be okay with it. I'm sure no school is okay with it, but because this is not a top school, there's no one to monitor it, and I don't think they care. So it was crazy, but it made me happy. So after his grandfather passed away, Akun has been, staying at a relative's house until now. It took him 2 hours to get to school one way, and that must have been hard on him. Okay, so the commute was an issue. And there was even talk about him transferring to another school. So what about your dining? I'll eat the leftover rice balls from the stop and buy. So after Akun started living in the club room, he got a part-time job working at the convenience store. And it so would happen that Miharu-san was looking for someone to help with the store since she didn't want to do any of the work herself. Okay. I'm fine. So you can survive as long as you are full. But it's like you're not eating healthy. You're eating instant noodles. You're eating leftovers. You're eating sweets. Stuff that is not good for you. Inside is concerned. Don't worry. So I said I'm okay. So he roughs my hair. So Akun is petting my head quite hard. So here, I'll give you a huge pat so that you won't worry. I'll be fine. Everything will be okay. And I just want to do that.
もう髪くしゃくしゃだよ。
Well, I don't want Akun to see my messed up hair, so I hurriedly fixed it up. And then I handed him the tote bag that I was carrying.
はい、これ。
Okay, you can have this. So what's it is?
ね。
So I took out a Tupperware from the tote bag.
おでん。
Okay, Odin. Wow.
あきとくんが一人暮らし始めたって言ったら食事が大変だろうってお母さんが作ってくれたの。
Well, thanks. So, it looks good.
温められるのかな。
Yeah, no problem. So we don't have a telescope in the astronomy club room, but we do have a microwave. And it's the same that he's living at school, but it stops him from transferring schools. And that's why I took it upon myself to support him. I try to make sure that he is getting proper food, and I tried to make life a little easier. So I asked my mother to make extra food that's really shareable, or that's easily shareable. So I brought over extra towels and blankets we didn't use and a cushion. And I even brought some of his leftover laundry home and did it there. And it was during that time I got the nickname Commuter Wife. And it was embarrassing, but it did make me a little happy. So at least I'm helping Akito in some way. And I don't mind being the commuter wife as long as Akito is happy.
せっかく天文部に入ったんならまた星を見ればいいのに。
Well, I'm over that phase. So I just be a member here so the club doesn't get disbanded. I can live in peace. And Akun became known as the astronomer who never looks at stars, long before I got the nickname of the commuter wife. So Akun acted like that way, that was true, but I knew he was still stargazing. And he would take the astronomy club, camping equipment and go to the mountains by himself from time to time. He said his late father liked to camp, but I know he went to the mountains to stargaze. But he's just keeping a secret from me.
きっと光にだったら言うんだろうな。
So I'm sure that Hikari is just as important to him as the stars are. So Hikari is still an important person to Akun. Well, that's okay. So as long as he is smiling. And if he is stargazing again, in that way he would return to the boy that I liked who said that my eyes look like Alberio. So I was content with that until one day. So just like a periodic event, Hikari Hokiboshi appeared. And the time that had stopped on, the day began to move again, so rusted gears are creaking into motion. And Akun began looking at the stars again, and I found out. So I found out that Akun still hadn't read my love letter. And that I hadn't been dumped yet. So basically I still have a chance.
Project Starlight にご協力お願いします。
So that was a pretty good history, and I wonder how Akito got the acceptance of the astronomy club. So, well, I don't look at stars. I'm not really an astronomer, but I just want to use the facility as my lodging. And I think what kind of led to it was that he also didn't get along very well with his relatives. But they do come and check on him from time to time because they're his legal guardian. So now going to Hikari at sea. So students' voices could be heard all over Harbor Town's place. And some students wearing different uniforms are handing out flyers to the townspeople. So the flyers is a slogan. So enjoy cooperation with Project Starlight. Let's watch the meteor shower in Harbor Town. And it had been decided that there would be an event in Harbor Town on December 14th, the peak day of the Geminid meteor shower. And as stated, as we were going to watch the meteor shower in Harbor Town, but it is labeled as an event to turn off illuminations. So to think that we would get so much help. Well, it's tiring. So Miharu-san's appeal has been a huge success. So if you remember, Miharu dressed up as the teacher that she was when Akito, Hikari, and Saya were elementary school students. And it's like, well, that will appeal to the people, despite Miharu-san not being able to fit into it perfectly. But it'd be boring just to turn off all the lights, so they made an event out of it. So this time the flyers are not homemade ones, but professionally designed by Harbor Town. Okay, so it looks like the whole town is in agreement. It's like, okay, let's make this an event. So we'll help you with the distribution of the flyers.
Project Starlight です。12月14日、イベントをやります。みんな遊びに来てね。
So Harbor Town's very own Harbor-kun is handing out flyers too.
ハーバー君、大きい。頼もしいよ、ハーバー君。でもちょっとブサイクだね、この子。
So our Project Starlight has become a collaborative event with Harbor Town. And it seems that Harbor Town figured it would be good publicity for young people in the area if it hosted the event. And thanks to our ability to share information improved. So we aren't just handing out flyers, but also using the internet to aggressively spread the word about the event. And the hit counter for Project Starlight's official website is skyrocketing. The amount of people following our social network has grown by 5 times, and we hoped to get even more followers closer to the meteor shower.
流星群の極大日までプラネタリウムの方でもイベントをやるらしいよ。子供たちも見に来てくれるといいな。
So Hikari is in a great mood since the project is doing well. And never once imagined that a small project started by a few students would grow this large.
これもみんなさやのおかげだね。
Well, we never would have gotten this big if it weren't for Saya's sketches. So Miharu-san's contact had really been moved by Saya's sketches. And it seems like they had done everything they could to convince Harbor Town to help. So Miharu-san never did tell who this friend was though. And she must have really disliked that person.
私たちがダメになりそうな時、いつもさやがつなぎ止めてくれるね。
Yeah.
今度こそちゃんと最後まで頑張らないと。
So we had to repay Saya for her 5 years of hard work. So what is it now?
いや、別に。
So Hikari just stared at me as she says that.
さやのこと本当に頼んだからね。
So talking to herself, Hikari went over to a family to give them a flyer.
12月14日、流星群を一緒に見ましょう。よろしくお願いします。
Okay, so our fight didn't end there. So word got out that Harbor Town is working with students to host an event, and it got in the newspaper and even on local TV. So word about Project Starlight is starting to spread around Hoshino City. And our reputation spread outside the city and other areas are setting up an observation event. Everything is reaching a climax. So we had even gotten help from students at each of the 6-star schools, so we no longer lacked helping hands. And cooperating with Harbor Town had helped make the Project Starlight look like a bona fide event. And even so, even more people are willing to help. So we are spending the last few days promoting the event to as many people as possible. And then on December 14th, the peak day of the Geminid meteor shower is finally here. Okay, so now is the day for Project Starlight to take into effect.
朝まで晴れ間が広がるようです。今夜は新月ですし、最高の観望日和ですね。
And everything is perfect for this event.
雨に洗い流されて空も綺麗っす。天が味方してくれてますね、これは。
So why is Hikari looking down?
ひかりさん？しっかりしてよ、ピカリン。ピカリンがこのプロジェクトのリーダーなんだから。
So you're the leader. You're supposed to be happy about this.
わかってるって。あとはイベントの開始時間を待つだけだと思うと、なんか気が抜けちゃってね。
Well, I'm tired.
かなりの人が来ますし、これからが大変だと思いますよ。
お客さんの誘導とかはハーバータウンのスタッフがやってくれるんですよね。
じゃなきゃ俺たちには無理っすよ。
そのあたりは大丈夫なはずだけど、私らはそのお手伝いするだけでさ。ですが各校からの参加者の面倒は我々が責任を持って見なければなりません。あ、そっか。結局結構な数の人が手伝いに来てくれてたもんね。ありがたいけど大変だ。
ま、そのくらい今までの苦労に比べたら
大したことないですよ。
そうですね。最高の夜のために頑張りましょう。部長は大丈夫でしょうか。
So what's going on? Okay, so where's Akito?
天の川先輩も
And Amanagawa
先
senpai.
輩です。
So where are the two?
まあ、アキトなら大丈夫だよ。あいつやるときはやるから。
So don't worry about them. They'll be alright.
顔引きつってるよ、ピカリン。今まで忙しいから見逃してきてやったけど、その名前で呼ぶな。
And as a reminder, do not call me Pikarin.
ギブピカリンじゃなくてヒカリちゃん。
Okay, Hikari-chan.
さやのこと頼むよ、アキト。人にヘッドロックしながらシリアスなモノローグやめて。
So, come on, let me go first. Okay, so for Akito, he's still looking for that luck charm for Saya. So the rain from last night finally ended after continuing until evening. And it was a lot of rain, so there are still puddles of water around.
ねえ、本当にここに落としたの？
Apparently.
溝に落ちて流されちゃったんじゃないの？
So Miharu-san asks while using a stick to weed through the grass. So we would never been able to find it if that happened.
諦めてさ、とりあえずサヤンとこ行ってきたら？
Well, I'm sure Saya won't like that. So Hikari said the same thing to me, so just give up and just go to Sai directly.
まだ見つかってないの？どうするの？今日だよ。
Well, I'll find it somehow.
なんとかって。でも、それだけ探して見つからないんだから、きっともうないんだよ。
Well,
誰かが持ってっちゃったとかさ。
So it's been too long and it's probably gone by now. So it's either washed away or some found it and used it.
そうだ、警察は交番に届いてんじゃない？
Well, I don't think that is something very valuable to be turned up to the police station. I shook my head. So I already checked, but they don't have it. So Hikari is looking at me like she had something she wanted to say.
サヤンとこ行って事情を話してみたら？
Well, I can't do that. So if I did, then she would forever lose that lost item. And I can't let that happen, so I need to find it. So you don't need to help me anymore, Miharu-san. So why don't you go and check in with the other people? So Hikari, Honoka, Karuna, Hinami.
そうもいかないでしょうが。
So looking disappointed, Miharu-san searches in the grass with her flashlight. And seeing her so serious made me sigh. So a teacher looking for their student's lost item is an amazing teacher, you know.
あんなの見ちゃったらね。
She solemnly whispers. So Saya's nighttime sketches. And she went back to being our old teacher after seeing 5 years worth of emotions in observation journals.
大切なものなんでしょ？あんたが今日この時にまだ探してるくらいに。
So I quieted down and thought. So it might be more important to me than to Saya.
サヤの落とし物でしょ？
Yes. So Miharu-san looks confused as she talks to Kotaro.
小太郎、あんた犬なんだから犬らしく見つけてみなさいよ。
So go find it. I tried, says Kotaro. Kotaro has joined me for the last few days of searching, but we still hadn't had any success. So I'm starting to think that it probably is not here. And I'm sure he wouldn't miss his beloved Saya's smell anywhere. So I'm sure if he did smell something that's kind of like Saya, he would bark happily. Well, it's already time, so they're going to need an advisor there tonight. So you tell me to go? She looks even more displeased when I leave her to man the store.
先生なんてほんとそうな役回りだわ。たまに生徒のために何かしようって思っても大した役にも立ちゃしない。
Well, that's not true. So we only got to Harbor Town to help us because of you, Miharu-san.
あれはあんたらとサヤのスケッチのおかげよ。
But you know, Saya was the one who started it all because she had the sketches and I could use that to leverage. But we wouldn't have done the last step without you. Well, I'll handle this by myself.
絶対見つけてあげなさいよ。いいわね。
So with that said, she leaves her stick here. Okay, so please take care of Kotaro. So take Kotaro home with you. So the smell will be washed away in this rain. So thank you, Kotaro. Okay, well, I helped. I'm sorry that I couldn't be much of a help to you in the end. So I petted his head and Kotaro gave a small whisper like he is apologizing. So Miharu-san grabs his leash and took him home. And watching them leave, I look up at the night sky. I can already see falling stars. It's possible to see falling stars anymore without even looking for them during a meteor shower. And I made a wish to one of them. So please don't let me lose her memories. And then started walking in the opposite direction. So for Saya, she's still... So I'm toying with an old pair of sunglasses. And they're cheap, but I need to wear them outside all the time when I was younger. So the sunglasses. And when I tried them on now, I was shocked to find that they don't suit me at all, and I got embarrassed thinking about it. So the style doesn't fit me. So I believe in him after all. So earlier this evening, I got a text from Hikari.
あいつまだ見つけてないみたい。さやの落とし物。私たちこれからイベントの準備でハーバータウンに行かなくちゃいけない。本当は私もあいつを手伝ってあげたいんだけど。どうする？もう諦めた方がいいんじゃない？ありがとう、心配してくれて。でも大丈夫だよ。光は光のするべきことに専念して。さや、私の方こそごめんね。外出禁止で全然手伝えなくて。
So either way, I'm grounded, so...
何言ってんのよ。あんたがネットのことやってくれるからイベントに専念できるって吉岡ちゃん言ってたよ。こっちは絶対成功させるからね。楽しみにしてる。明るい夜のために。明るい夜のために。
So for Saya, she's still not comfortable. So words into action, Hikari is really trying to make it happen. So she's trying to reclaim the bright night of our past, and then also when the sky was full of stars. So Hikari's speech on the night of stargazing has struck a deep chord in me.
"仲のいい友達と3人でこの場所で毎晩のように星を数えていました。あの頃の夜空は今よりずっと明るかった。無数の星が雄大な夜空のスクリーンにひしめくように瞬いていて、星明かりが闇夜を照らしているようでした。一つ一つの星たちは小さな小さな光です。目が闇に慣れていなければ見えないような。でもそんな小さな光が無数に集まればこんなにも明るい夜空になる。子供心に不思議に感じ、私たちは星の世界に引き込まれていきました。けれど私が夜空を見上げるのを忘れているうちに、いくつもの星が姿を消していました。地上に明かりが一つ灯ると、夜空の星が一つ消えてしまうのです。
So no one noticed them disappearing. And like a fading memory, the night sky grew darker and lifeless. And wouldn't you like to see that? So the night of the giant meteor shower, the starry sky colored by countless little lights. A bright night like the old days. So yes, I like to see that. And I had thought that for the past 5 years, as I did my sketches of the stars. But that was all I did. So counting every night, how many stars we lost.
光はすごいな。自分から動き出せるんだもん。
So even after when the goal is nearly impossible. So Hikari is the first friend I ever had. She had so many things I lacked. I wanted so badly to be more like her. And it was that Hikari who managed to get Aki or Akun to look at the night sky again. So if I hadn't told Hikari about my feelings for Akun, what would have happened? I wonder. So not only had I damaged their friendship, I'm probably in the way of Hikari's love for Akun too.
いいのかな、このままで。
So from the time Akun and I started going out, I would ask myself the question over and over again.
私にそんな資格あるのかな。
So my heart just kept sinking. So poisoned by negative thoughts, I'm worried that I'm turning into a horrible person. So in the end, I had said terrible things to Hikari and had worried my mother and everyone else by running away from home. So I hurried my head in my arms, or burned my head in my arms, on the desk.
あのお守りがないと、あっくんと会う勇気持てないよ。
So if he is still looking for it, I had to stop him. So the Harbor Town event is starting soon, and he's going to miss it because of me. So now Saya feels that, well, I'm causing so much trouble for everyone, and it's only making it worse. So one, I kind of interfered with the growing relation between Hikari and Akito, or Akun. And two, I feel like I stole Akun from Hikari, and now I'm preventing him from going to the Harbor Town Project Starlight event. So I pick up my phone and stare at the screen. Okay, I'll send him a message. No, that wouldn't convince him to stop, so I better call and talk to him directly. But to what end?
もう私のことなんか忘れて。
Well, that's not going to help. So my vision blurs as when I thought about it. So I am a selfish person, I realize. So wiping away in tears, I happen to see the time display on my phone.
そろそろイベントの時間だ。
So I stood up and turned off the lights in my room. And then I went to the window and looked at the houses nearby. And there aren't many windows to begin with, but they are still, or they're all dark. So either no one is up, or is in, or...
プロジェクトスターライトに協力してくれてるのかな。
So I looked at the clock one more time. The event is starting in 40 minutes.
今から急いで駆けつければ、あっくんも間に合う。
So stuffing my phone into my pocket, I quickly got ready to head out.
早乙女が閉まってる。
So, once known as the Mikazuki Castle that never sleeps, the stop and by is actually closed at this hour. But at least Kotaro's here.
コタちゃん。久しぶりだね。
So at least I get to see Kota-chan again. So I hadn't been to the store since I, cooped myself up at home, so I never got to see Kota-chan.
元気だった？
So Kota-chan didn't look around or sounded very happy. His behavior is almost apologetic. Well, I'm sorry, I'm here.
よしよし。
Or more like, I got left behind.
あ、さやじゃん。
先
Wait, Sen?
生
So we see Miharu once again dressed up like the teacher from before. So at the sudden appearance of Miharu Sensei, properly dressed like a teacher, my back straightened automatically.
久しぶり。家出して自宅謹慎してたんだって？
はい、名目ないです。
私が担任の時じゃなくてよかったわ。受け持ちの生徒がそういうことやらかすと、教頭や保護者会がうるさいのよ。
So I'm sure the parents and the principal would have talked to me about this.
本当にごめんなさい。
いいのよ。子供ってのは大人に迷惑かけて、心配かけて、大きくなっていくものなんだから。その代わり、将来自分の子供がやらかした時は、ちゃんと受け止めてあげなさい。
はい、先生。ところで、どうしてそんな格好してるんですか？
So anyways, why are you dressed like this?
これからあっち行くんだけど、怖い先輩がいるからね。
先輩。
So they must be the collaborators that Hikari was talking about.
何？
先生はやっぱりその方が先生らしくて素敵だと思います。
そう、ありがとう。
So I hurriedly took out my phone. So a picture.
これ、
Or maybe a selfie.
この間の写真を光が送ってくれて、それで。
待ち受けにしてるのね。
はい。
ありがとう。
And for some reason, Miharu Sensei smiles a little, stiffly and rubs the top of my head.
それで、あんたはここで何してんの？
So what are you doing here?
あ、そうだ。あっくんを探してたんです。
あいつなら来る途中にいたでしょ。あの踏切のところ。
それがいなかったんです。
おかしいな。
もうみんなのところへ行っちゃったんでしょうか。
So maybe he went with the other people.
それはないと思うよ。あいつすっごい思い詰めた顔して言ってたもん。 あんたの落とし物を探すのはあんたのためじゃないって。
私のためじゃない。
So Miharu-san nodded inscrutably.
俺にとって大切なのかもしれないって言ってた。なんかちょっとカッコつけた感じで。
悪にとって大切。
だからまだ探してると思うんだけどね。
So Miharu-san scratches the back of her head. She did it unconsciously, just as she used to all the time back then. And just then, my phone goes off. So who would talk to Saya at this hour? So I thought it's Hikari, but when I looked, the screen shows the name Akito Sarami. So it's Akito. So I'm waiting at the agreed place.
約束の場所。
So that place? So where would that be? So after a moment, confusion, it comes to me. So it has to be the place.
見つけたみたいだね、あいつ。言っといで。
Okay, go on. So Miharu-san gives me back a gentle push. So go and meet him. And just then, a taxi drove into the roundabout in front of the station. And she must have called for it because it stopped where she was standing and the back door opened.
あいつのこと頼んだよ。
So the taxi speeds off in the direction of Harbor Town. And Kota-chan is milling around my feet. I patted him as I gathered what little courage I had left.
あっくんは見つけてくれたんだ。私がなくしたくない大切なものを。
So he found it.
大丈夫。
So it'll be okay. Okay, says Kotaro.
行ってくるね。
So I'll be right back. And I left Kota-chan and headed off to the agreed place. It's beautiful. Okay, so we're looking at this from Akito's perspective. Leaning against the wall of the dam's walkway, I look at the stars. And reflected in the lake is the second night sky. So the lake is calm and the stars are mirrored with stunning clarity. And it was a curious scene having two skies in front of me, or it is. So Saya had always done her star sketches here. And immersed in the silence of night. And what did she feel, I wonder, or how did she feel, as she captured on paper each star as it disappeared? It was as if things both important and trivial are falling through a hole in someone's pocket. And she is trying to scoop them up from the smooth surface of the lake in her tiny palm, and maybe that's what she felt. So I saw in Sky's sketches her frustration and anxiety, her desire to record, at the very least, what she lost, and it filled me with sadness. But the accumulation of those memories has led up to the present. And as long as we remembered what we lost, the day might come when it returns to us. So I heard footsteps. And looking up, I saw a small shadow along the dam's walkway. And we know who this person is. Hey, Saya! For a moment, Saya looks relieved to see me, but then her expression grew tense again. So I found it. This is the thing that you lost. So I showed her the object I carefully held onto. So this is it, right? So you dropped it here. So it was not at the walkway, but over here. So it was here, not along the tracks. There you go. So someone must have found it and hung it up where it would not get rained on.
そうだったんだ。
So she probably lost it on one of her sketching trips. She had been so sure that it happened the time she got caught by the teacher on night patrol. So I returned the amulet, or the luck charm, to Saya. So holding it carefully in both hands, she looked at me for a while, and then she spoke, sounding a little melancholic.
ありがとう。
So what is it?
このお守りだけど。
So yes? So Sai decided not to say anything and untied the amulet's strings instead. So she opened the pouch and looked inside. Huh? Wait, what is it? So here... So it looks like Akito opened up first, and it's like, this is what I found. So from my pocket, I took out a piece of paper that was folded very small. So is this it, right? The important thing that you didn't want to lose? And I unfolded it, and the words are neatly written, but cute too. So it's the love letter that Saya had. And there you go. So the love letter that Saya gave to me. She had folded it up and put it inside the luck charms pouch, and that way she always have it near her. And close to her skin, the important thing that she didn't want to lose. I had noticed it when I had been in Saya's room. I had seen the envelope, but the letter had been gone. So I'm trying to understand her thoughts, so I read the letter again in the light of the stars. So there you go. So I know this is sudden and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I wanted to know how you feel, and that's why I'm writing this letter. And I had liked you a long time, so please go out with me. I'll be waiting in our usual spot on the bridge tomorrow, so I would really like to hear your thoughts. Great. Well, it is late, but it's better than never. And the bridge is gone too. So that's why they're on the dam instead. So not just the bridge, but the whole village. And it's asleep beneath our feet at the bottom of the lake, colored by the stars. So it's okay for me to reply to this letter.
待って。
So Saya stops me.
私、あっくんとお付き合いするようになってからずっと悩んでた。これで本当にいいのかなって。あっくんと光の関係を壊しちゃったのは私なんだよ。
But you know, I've been bad because I really hurt or I caused so much trouble for you.
私が光に相談したりしたから。あっくんを好きになったりしたから。そのせいであっくんは光と喧嘩して。星を見るのもやめちゃった。
So I was like, well, you know, you were suffering for a long time, and you even stopped looking at stars, and you got a pretty bad title.
あっくんから大切なものを奪ったのは私だもん。
But Saya,
きっと私にはあっくんに恋する資格なんてない。だからお守り。 気持ちをここに落としちゃったんだよ。
So tears welled up in Saya's blue and orange eyes. So looking at the sadness in her eyes, I actually found myself thinking, well, they're so pretty. So Saya's eyes were truly like stars. Well then, so what about the letter? So should I discard it? I'm sure it's no. Saya bit her lip and said nothing. She seems to be on the verge of deciding yes, throwing it away would be better. Well, I don't know what to do either. So if it is causing Saya so much pain, or if throwing it away would be easier, then doing so might make everything happier. Say, well, this has been a curse, so I think we should eliminate the curse. So our phones went off at the same time. So the mood's tense, and we were caught off guard, but then we took out our phones. Oh, she wrote something.
カウントダウン始まったよ。
Okay, so it's time for the countdown.
3、2、1、消灯。
3、
2、1、消灯。
Okay, so now with all the lights, or most of the lights turned off, they can now see a very colorful and starry sky. And even Akito and Saya can see it, even though they're not in Harbor Town. It's like, they did it. A warmth is building up inside me. So I felt satisfied and anxious at once. So the negative feelings I harbored were instantly flushed out by a wellspring of emotion. So I grabbed Saya by the hand. So back then, you held my hand like this.
あの時。
Wait, that time? So there is some kind of misunderstanding, I think. But right when I needed someone beside me, it was you who held my hand, Saya. So please don't disappear on me. And I don't want to love or lose the Saya who wrote me this letter. And I don't want to lose what's important to me. So the eyes, Saya's beauty. So I pulled Saya to me and kissed her. So it is impulsive. But I couldn't think of any other way to convey how I felt. So I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want to throw it away. This letter. And the feeling that she's treasured for so long. And with my lips pressed against hers, I looked right into her eyes. So, I love you, Saya. So her eyes, one slight blue, the other orange, tinged with amber, looked right back at me. And I want to keep looking at you like this, say, you'll be my star and mine alone. And that's my reply. So instead of nodding, Saya returns the kiss. And we finally understood each other's feelings. So it had taken us 5 years and plenty of detours. And in that time, our bridge had disappeared and our village had been submerged by the dam. but still, the letter got delivered along with the feelings it contained. So, on the bright night, revived by our own hands. And the restored stars, the blazing meteors, are reflected in the lake as if the meteors are raining down on Mikazuki Village underwater. So let's start over from here. Go beyond the memories set out for our next destination.
Yosh! 撤収準備完了!
Okay, so we're back in Harbor Town with the other people, so Hikari, Honoka, and everyone else. And this is a good place to stop for this episode. So we can finally see that Akito has answered Saya's letter after 5 years. And I'm sure for Saya, the letter still holds its power, its weight. And that's why she kept it with the luck charm. And Saya does feel upset, like, well, I feel like I caused so much trouble for Akito, and I feel that all the bad things that he's facing, so living alone, and like the fight with Hikari, that was caused by me. But Akito's like, well, I want you, Saya, and plus, you did have some good things, so when my grandfather passed, you really came to help me, and you were the only person who understood how I really felt. Despite me putting on a show where I look all happy as if everything is normal. And Saya did help Akito a lot when he was living in the clubroom of Hoshidaiichi. Even though that's kind of a strange accommodation, but Saya did have some concerns that, well, I don't want you to be a primitive mountaineer guy. I want you to be like a normal person. And she's willing to sacrifice herself being the commuter wife. So I'm sure we're coming close to the end of Saya's route in A Sky Full of Stars. And I wonder how it's going to end now that Project Starlight is happening now, or it's about to end. And that Saya and Akito are now finally back together after all these episodes. And with that in mind, I'll see you later.